Look at a Pat CC video. This auto-tune ruined music.
Saying auto-tune ruined music is an exhausted argument that old people have been complaining about for the past 15 years. Their assumption is that you can use the tool on anyone's voice and it will magically make them a great singer, which is only partially
Surely.
true. Look at this bad singer with auto-tune versus a good singer with auto-tune.
Through the fire, to the limit, to the walls. Oh, I sound good.
Bro, auto-tune.
Yeah, you know I've been looking for you.
Basically, the tool can make a bad singer
Yeah, auto-tune can only help so much. It can bring you down just as much, you know?
somewhat tolerable and a good singer sound near perfect.
Yeah.
But some artists use it for creative purposes. T-Pain is the artist most commonly associated with auto-tune, and he is actually a phenomenal singer. He used the effect in 2004 not to be better, but to be different. During the beginning of this video, I want you to stop thinking about artists like T-Pain, Travis Scott, Kanye West, and anyone else who uses auto-tune as a creative effect. That's not who we're talking about right now. The artists in question are the ones who are understood to be good or great singers, but use auto-tune to achieve perfection, because there is a big problem with perfect singing. But first, a word from our sponsor, Kamikoto. Over 800
Why?
years of Japanese
Oh my,
technology
holy.
and expertise.
He's got a knife. That thing's scary.
In my description, kamikoto.com/PatrickCC, and use my promo code PatrickCC to get
Use the link, man.
$50 off your purchase today.
Use the code, man.
Thanks, Kamikoto. It's good to note
Huge.
that auto-tune is a plugin, a program that was invented by Andy Hildebrand in 1997. The word auto is important because the program automatically perfects their singing in real time. Shortly after, another similar program was invented called Melodyne. The basic goal of these tools: pitch correction. When an artist sings, they're trying to hit specific notes. If they miss a note, these tools will essentially force the sound recording up or down in pitch to correct the error. But missing a note is not an error. It's called character, style, color, emotion. Sure, if you miss every note, or are constantly missing notes, you are just bad at singing. But the way a singer misses the notes is what makes them unique. Listen to the before and after pitch correction on a great singer's voice.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Oh yeah.
You'll be able to hear a huge difference.
It's like a
The
small.
version with Melodyne removes some of the soul in Bill's voice. Here's an example that is a little more obvious.
I like when the voice cracks.
Notice
I
how
like when the voice cracks because it shows that you're trying to go and show, you know, emotion. Like you're really in the know-how. You know, shit happens, man. People ain't always perfect. Like I like that. I like that. I wish it would happen more. People try to cover it, you know.
that E4 note
Sometimes it's like some of my favorite parts in songs. Like sometimes artists leave it in. And I love when that shit just stays in because it's sometimes good.
Michael Bublé sang is a perfectly straight line. This would be like pressing down on a piano. The accuracy is next to impossible to achieve by a human.
Oh, I'm just far from where you are.
His singing just kind of sounds like noise, like a robot,
Right.
no emotion.
The
Which kind
Bublé.
of defeats the point because it's an emotional song. Here's another example.
When my eyes were stared by the flash of a neon light.
Oh, what a
Just sounds
song.
very robotic and soulless. Now
Right.
compare that to someone who is not using autotune. Now Freddie Mercury is considered
Freddie
to be one
Mercury.
of the best of all time, but this singing isn't perfect pitch.
No,
you can see
not
he's
at
missing
all.
some notes, but
He
it
was
still sounds
exactly who
amazing.
I was thinking of. I know, what is it? Not Killer Queen. It might be Killer Queen. No, it's Bohemian Rhapsody. There's a part where his like voice just breaks, but he lets it happen, and it goes on to be like better. No wait, it might be Barcelona. I don't know. It's one of those three songs, but like his voice cracks in it, and it just goes on to be better. It's great. I love that.
Filled with emotion.
Freddie was a
and
beast.
life. Perfect pitch
Different.
removes the human
Different
element of
sauce.
the voice. But these days, human connection doesn't even matter. Not using autotune might actually do more harm than good. If human connection mattered, then electronic dance music wouldn't be as popular as it is. In most genres, it seems like the connection comes from the rhythm of the beat or the lyrics, rather than the actual voice of the performer. However, I think we can agree that hearing an artist perform their work with no effects makes us feel something.
A lot more real, man. Oh, this is a tiny PR desk or whatever. I like this YouTube channel. I like the Mac Miller one. and the Tyler the Creator one. Pretty much anyone who goes on there. Because then you really get to see how they sing, how they
About a
act.
human that can sing so well. Even singers who
pretty
don't
great.
have amazing pitch are able to evoke an emotional response to the listener based on
Easy.
the passion they convey.
Tired of better than running up, I gotta put the new bells inside of the beat. Back at the trap, I was ducking them people, ducking the birds, sending out the eagles.
So you would assume that live performances is where you get to see all your favorite artists perform their songs in their natural voice. Maybe. Some singers are very adamant about not using
Sometimes.
autotune in live performances, but sometimes autotune is applied to their microphones without them even knowing.
Yo, I know we're live.
Oh, that's gotta be weird.
I think you guys have some tune on my vocals or something.
Bieber's autotune was likely set to the wrong key, which was making his singing sound terrible. If it was in the right key, he may not have even noticed. But does a singer using autotune live ruin the value of the performance? Is it dishonest? When you consider they have to dance, engage the crowd, and pace themselves properly for 1 or 2 hours, they get fatigued and are likely to miss some notes. So a little help from autotune isn't the worst thing in the world. Think about the big bright lights, bass blasting through the massive speakers, standing in the middle of a sea of people, everyone dancing and living in the moment. That is what makes the performance memorable. It doesn't really matter what type of music is playing or who is performing it, as long as the energy and environment is right. Most rappers don't even perform their songs.
They get the crowd to do
MP3
it.
version that you would listen to on Spotify, and they jump around screaming a few of the words. But rap fans still love these concerts.
True. To each their own, you know?
And these fans are starting to encourage the use of the effect. The attitude towards autotune varies from genre to genre. In EDM, nobody cares. Daft Punk have been using all kinds of crazy vocal effects since their inception, and nobody ever mentions them. After all,
'Cause it's
it is
good,
called
man.
Electronic music.
It's really good.
Hip-hop, it was heavily rejected at first, but thanks to a few legendary artists such as T-Pain, Kanye West, and Lil Wayne, over time it became beloved. Now most hip-hop fans don't mind the use of the effect. In rock, pop, country,
Like
and
you said,
other
most of the
genres
time they
that
actually
are
kind of want it.
traditionally dominated by talented vocalists is where artists get the most criticism. I mean, these are some of the oldest genres, where 50, 60, 70 years ago, your performance was everything. You wouldn't have a career if you weren't a good vocalist. These days, if you don't use autotune, it might actually hurt your potential. Kids and young adults will always be deciding what the status quo is for pop culture. If you don't have a young fan base, you won't be topping the charts. Young people have been so conditioned to hearing perfect pitch for the past 20 years that when we hear something that isn't perfect, it sounds unprofessional or unfinished. Since the industry standard
just
has been
confused.
pushed to use pitch correction, you have to use it to stay competitive. This leads people to believe that it ruined the music industry. Now, the barrier to entry into the music industry is lower than ever. Anyone can buy a $50 microphone online, download or purchase a DAW and auto-tune and record a song, then post it on TikTok, go viral, and get a record deal. But is that a bad thing? If people like the song, then they like the song.
Yeah.
Music is subjective after all.
Yeah, like it is what it
However,
is. To each their
some
own.
artists will spend years and years mastering.
And TikTok is so huge for music these days. Like what he just said is so real. Like getting in the music scene is like still hard, but it's nowhere near as hard as it used to be. Like there's a lot more ways to get yourself out there.
craft, only for it to fall on deaf ears, whereas others blow up by accident or off a gimmick. Does one person deserve more recognition than another? Should there be a new Grammy or award or category for real singers or non-auto-tune singers? Autotune is just another technological advancement that was bound
interesting.
to happen. Humans are always trying to make things easier, faster, more efficient. People think that singing is just a natural talent. It mostly isn't. It takes years and years of practice and
You gotta-
training, along with maintaining that skill.
You gotta get the pitch
Singers are
right. You
constantly
gotta,
warming up their
bro.
vocals,
It takes
making
time.
sure they eat and drink properly, and trying to maintain their skill. But if
Right.
you are pretty good, or very good, or kind of good, just slap a little bit of auto-tune and speed up that process. Because if you spend too much time perfecting your voice, there's a new singer that pops up every 6 months who might captivate the audience's interest. And they use auto-tune. The
True.
world is moving at an incredible pace, and greatness takes time. But people don't want to wait for greatness anymore. So most artists are not willing to take the risk and miss their chance at achieving their music dream.
Right. They don't want to be left behind, you know? So they trade the soul for the perfection, you know? Everything's like perfected or close to perfection these days. People like when it comes to like the minor mistakes or flaws, I guess. Yeah, you can say flaws and shit. People are almost thrown off by it because we're so used to like eating like imperfection, you know, whatever from our shit. It's just kind of like, what the fuck is this?